Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Online students, can you see and hear both the things I want to know?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
My voice is okay, or shall I increase the volume?
No, it's okay.
Yes?
It's
Okay.
audible and okay.
Yeah. Okay, now let us revise some part which we have already taken last time, that means on Saturday's lecture. Okay. So we have finished how many molecules? Carbohydrates, lipids, proteins last time. Some part of lipid and proteins we have finished. I mean, we started with nucleic acids also. So that protein part I will not revise. Now I have sent you the PDF and all the details. Now you can see the nucleic acids. We will start. We will begin with the next biomolecule, nucleic acid. Nucleic acids are polymers of nucleotides. They include DNA, that means deoxyribose nucleic acid, and RNA means ribonucleic acid, which are found in living systems. What then nucleic acids are made up of? These are the macromolecules. Okay, they are nothing but the polynucleotide chains. That means poly means what? Many. Nucleotide, many nucleotides are joined together to form a chain, long chain, that is nothing but the polynucleotide chain. So nucleic acids are the polynucleotides. They are the molecules that store information for cellular growth and reproduction. Now you know what does it mean? You have studied last time the cell cycle. Do you remember last time cell cycle is studied, and in that you studied one of the cell divisions. What is that? Mitosis, if you remember. And so that is nothing but the part of growth by mitosis. And when you will be studying the next type of cell division, then you will be studying this part. So nucleic acids are responsible for cellular growth and reproduction. Okay, that is the role. So they store the information accordingly. What are these two types? As I mentioned just now, deoxyribonucleic acid and ribonucleic acid. Now, according to the type of sugar which is present in it, they are known by. Deoxy means what? One oxygen atom is less than the ribose type of sugar. So sugar, both the types of sugars are of pentose type, but only the difference is what? In one of the sugars, that means deoxyribose nucleic acid contains the pentose sugar with one oxygen atom less. So that is what deoxyribose nucleic acid. Now what nucleotide means and what nucleoside means, that also we have already discussed, but I will revise this part. Nucleotide consists of the nitrogen base, a pentose sugar and phosphate group. This is what called as nitrogen base. This is the pentose sugar, and to the fifth carbon here the number is given, that is to the fifth carbon this phosphate group is attached. Okay, so this nitrogen base is attached to the first carbon, and to the fifth carbon phosphate group is attached. Now you can see very clearly in this diagram 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 numbers are given, right? These 5 numbers mentioned, they are showing the number of carbon atoms present in the sugar. Okay, pentose is what? 5. 5 carbon sugar. We have studied the carbohydrates, different types, isn't it? So this is very simplest form with which you can remember the nucleotides, what they contain. This is the diagrammatic representation. You can say that pentose sugar, nitrogen bases and phosphate group. Now pentose sugar, as I told you, these are of two types, ribose and deoxyribose, and nitrogen bases, they are of two types, again purines and pyrimidines. Now what this is, that pentose sugar, RNA contains ribose, DNA contains deoxyribose, and you can see the difference here. Here you can find out the difference at the which place you observe these two diagrams, and you can find what is the difference at the 2 number carbon in deoxyribose sugar. One oxygen is less than the ribose sugar, where at the two number carbon 2 OH is present, and at the carbon 2 in deoxyribose only H is present. You can see, isn't it, in this diagram? So that means what? One oxygen atom is less in deoxy. That's why the name is deoxy. One oxygen atom is deleted or removed, isn't it? That is what called as deoxy. So oxygen atom is less. Then when you see, this, you can, just a minute, some technical problem. Just bear with me 2 minutes. By the time you can keep your textbook open, and if you can write down there that the difference between the deoxyribose sugar and the ribose sugar you can find. Okay. I don't know what has happened. Some wrong button. Come to this. I'll stop my presentation and again I will start because some error is there.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, your microphone is muted.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, voice is not coming.
Ma'am, unmute your microphone. We are unable to hear you.
Ma'am, your microphone is on mute mode.
Ma'am, the microphone is on mute. Ma'am, your voice is not coming. Ma'am, we are unable to hear you.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, your
I can't
microphone.
hear you.
Microphone.
Ma'am, your voice not coming.
Ma'am, your voice not
The
coming.
phone was okay. Can you hear me now? I'll. Can I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
Now
now
yes,
I'm
I
here.
guess my microphone had gone on the off mode, mute mode. Now, did you see part? Whatever I was telling, I will repeat again. Okay. I will go to the presentation mode again. Okay, this is what a structure of nucleotide, where this is the nitrogen base attached to the first carbon, then to the fifth carbon. This is the fifth carbon, phosphate group is attached. This is a single unit of nucleotide. Now, what is the difference between nucleotide and nucleoside? When to the nucleoside phosphate group gets attached, then you can say that it is the nucleotide. And that means what is nucleoside? Pentose sugar and nitrogen base, that together forms nucleoside. Now you can see in the next diagram, as well as here in the explanation, you can see this is the structure of nucleoside and this is the structure of nucleotide. Now you can see here very clearly that when phosphate group is attached to the fifth carbon of the nucleoside, then that becomes nucleotide. Is that clear? Everybody, you can see in the textbook also. And as for the names of the nitrogen bases
Ma'am,
present in
what is
A,
the page number?
they are named as adenine, guanine, cytosine, and uridine. That is in case of RNA. Adenosine monophosphate, guanosine monophosphate, cytidine or cytosine monophosphate, uridine monophosphate. Mono means single. When only single phosphate group is present, that is mono. When two phosphate groups are present, that is di. When three are present, that is tri. Now it come to know in the next. And in case of deoxyribose, instead of ribose, that is the sugar is deoxyribose, so deoxyadenosine monophosphate. So D, when it gets attached to AMP, that is what D present is DNA. Got it? Accordingly, these are named. So here is the difference. You can see very clearly that when mono AMP means what? Adenosine. We are just taking the example of adenine. We are taking the nitrogen base as adenine, which is a type of purine. A and G are purines, whereas C and T, they are pyrimidines. Purines are double ring compounds, pyrimidines are single ring compounds. Now, how they are helping, its nature is helping in the structure of DNA, that we'll see. Now, what is AMP? AMP is what? Adenosine monophosphate. ADP is what? Adenosine diphosphate. And ATP is adenosine triphosphate. This is the single unit of nucleotide with the nitrogen base as adenine attached to the first carbon. Here you can see. And to the fifth carbon, what is attached here? Only one phosphate group is attached. Then it becomes mono. Okay. When two phosphate groups are attached, then it becomes di. Then when to that third phosphate group is attached, then it becomes tri. Okay, so single, then it becomes di. When second phosphate group is attached, here you can see the two phosphate groups, right? This is the single phosphate group. Back to the single phosphate group, when the one more phosphate group is attached, then it becomes di. You can see this is the di, because here you can see two. Can you see here accordingly? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the first only single phosphate group attached to this fifth carbon. Then this you can see the sign plus, that means one more phosphate group is attached. Then what is the result? It becomes di. So these phosphates, how many two phosphates are there? So it becomes adenosine diphosphate, ADP. Then to these two, when one more phosphate group gets attached, then it becomes ATP. So the energy which is present generally stored in the form of ATP, and as and when required, then ATP gets converted into ADP, AMP accordingly. ATP is the form of energy which is stored. Okay. Then this is what now primary structure of nucleic acid. Now, as I told you that nucleic acids, according to the presence of pentose sugar present in it, they are named as deoxy or ribose type of deoxyribose or ribose type of sugars present. Accordingly, they are named, but they are nothing but the chain of nucleotides. A single nucleotide is a single unit or the monomer you can consider, and when such monomers they are joined together, then they become polymers. That means polynucleotide, and the bond which is present between these two nucleotides, phosphodiester bond, that is called as, okay, these are joined by the bonds and they form a long chain that is called as, that is peptide bond. So polypeptide chain. Now polypeptide chain is present in proteins, like that polynucleotide. These are not polypeptide, but they are polynucleotide, because what we are studying is nucleic acid, right? Are you getting my point? So these nucleic acids which contain a chain of nucleotides, that is the polynucleotide chain, right? So such mononucleotide is what? A single unit of nucleotide. Such nucleotides get attached to each other to form a long chain, that is the polynucleotide chain. Now here you can see this is what the base, this is the sugar, and this is the phosphate group. So they are joined to each other. Now how they are joined to each other, I will show you in the next diagram, and how it forms the chain, how this chain is formed. Now according to the type of sugar present, either deoxyribose or ribose type of sugar, these form the structure, and in the primary structure only a single chain of nucleotide is present, whereas in the secondary structure there are two strands of nucleotides. Try to understand. A single chain of nucleotides, that means polynucleotide chain, when it is a single, that is the primary structure. When two chains are present, that is the secondary structure. But in case of DNA, that means deoxyribose nucleic acid, these two chains are present. That means this is not the primary, it doesn't remain primary, it becomes secondary. And these two polynucleotide chains run parallelly, as well as they are coiled around each other. Means helically they are coiled. Okay, now we'll see in DNA, these two strands of nucleotides that bind together to form a double helix model. They form a double helix model. In the textbook also, you can keep the textbook in front of you. You can see the diagram, the same I will show here. And the bases are arranged in a step-like pairs, and the base pairs are held together by hydrogen bonding. And this pairing is also very specific. The pairing of the bases from the two strands is very specific. Now I will show you what is that pairing. Now, you know, a single strand is present, single strand of nucleotides is present. What it contains? Phosphate group, sugar, and nitrogen base, purine or pyrimidine. The same way, another strand of nucleotide is present running parallelly. Okay, but the direction only is opposite, so that's why this is called as anti-parallel. You come to know in the diagram, which is there in the textbook, you can see. So when these two strands come in contact with each other, running parallelly, opposite direction, what will come close to each other? Nitrogen bases. Nitrogen base of one strand will join the nitrogen base of the another strand. Now how they are joined? They are joined by weak hydrogen bonds. I will show you in the next diagram. And their distance is also very specific. Now you can see here in this diagram, it's very clear. Now this is what called as base pairing. A and D, these are what? A, T, G, C, these are all bases. These are all bases. They are nitrogen bases. Okay, and these are of two types as we discussed, that is purines and pyrimidines, right? So this type of pairing is seen. This is the chain of one nucleotide. That means what? This is a polynucleotide chain, and this is another polynucleotide chain, right? Now this is what the structure, this is the chemical structure, and this is the diagrammatic structure of DNA. Now how the DNA looks, this is one strand, this is another strand, they are running parallelly, but the direction is opposite. Now how this direction is called, that I will show you in this diagram. See here, this is a single chain of nucleotides, that is a single polynucleotide chain. Suppose you can consider this is number 1 polynucleotide chain and this is the another second polynucleotide chain. They are running parallelly. Is it clear now? They are running parallelly. Now, can you see these squares? These are nothing but the nitrogen bases. To the first carbon of this chain, the nitrogen base, that is a purine called A, adenine, is present, right? And it is attached to the thymine. Thymine is purine or pyrimidine? Tell me. Pyrimidine. Now, got it? What is this pairing? Purine pairs with pyrimidine always, with either 2 or 3 what? Hydrogen bonds. These are weak. You know, can you see this pairing between A and T? This pairing, these bonds are hydrogen bonds. These are weak hydrogen bonds. So purine A will always pair with pyrimidine T, that is the thymine. Okay, with 2 weak hydrogen bonds. Okay, whereas G is what? Purine or pyrimidine? Purine. And C is what? Cytosine is pyrimidine. So can you understand with this diagram and the structure that purine will pair with pyrimidine, and that bonding is also very specific. Adenine will pair with thymine only and cytosine will pair with only guanine. And one more thing you can find out the difference, that is when adenine is pairing with thymine, there are 2 weak hydrogen bonds. But can you see here between guanine and cytosine how many weak hydrogen bonds are present? 3 hydrogen bonds are present. They are weak. Why they are weak, I will tell you when we will study the further part of the structure and synthesis of DNA. That time I will tell you the role of weak hydrogen bonds. But these are the hydrogen bonds. You can always remember. So purine will pair with pyrimidine always, and adenine will pair with what? Thymine, with 2 weak hydrogen bonds, and cytosine will pair with guanine, or guanine will pair with cytosine with 3 hydrogen bonds. You remember? Will you remember that purine always pairs with pyrimidine, and their pairing is very specific, A and T and vice versa, with 2 weak hydrogen bonds, G and C and vice versa with 3 weak hydrogen bonds. Is it clear up to this? Because this is very basic thing. These are all basic things which you need to understand and then remember forever. Understood? So these are the hydrogen bonds. Now I will explain you what is the direction. Okay. Can you see the direction here? Can you see the direction here? What is this direction? Arrow is downward. Here the direction is arrow is. Now you observe what is near the arrow, what number is seen, and opposite that arrow what number is seen. Can you see? Can you find with this observation any, what is that difference? Okay, anybody? Observe these 2 strands and the arrows. Now I'll tell you. Okay, see how this is called. Now in this polynucleotide chain, this is the 5th carbon, right? And to the 5th carbon what is present? Phosphate group is attached, and this to the 5th carbon, which is phosphate group present here, next nucleotide is not attached here, but it is free, right? And so this is what called as 5 prime, because at 5th carbon this phosphate group which is attached is free. So whatever you see 5 dash is called as 5 prime. You understood this? Now when you see this arrow, at the arrow what is there? What is written there? 3. 3 dash means what? That is called as 3 prime. Now here also you can see to the 3rd carbon this phosphate group is attached, and that is free. Next nucleotide is not attached there. So how it is read? 5 prime to 3 prime direction. How it is read? 5 prime to 3 prime direction. And now this is moving in the opposite direction, right? So here you can see that this is the third carbon which is free, isn't it? So that is why this is called 3 prime. 3 dash is what? 3 prime. Understood? And this is the fifth carbon which is free. So this is the end called as 5 dash means 5 prime. You got this point? Is it clear to everybody? Your online students also, this is for?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this is what called as direction. 5 prime to 3 prime in this direction and 5 prime to 3 prime in the opposite direction. Prime is what? Whatever the dash you see at that number, carbon atom which is free. That phosphate group is free. It's not attached to the next nucleotide, right? So that's why this is called as prime or dash. That dash is known as prime. So these numbers are as per the carbon atom, right? Okay. Now, when you see this model, this is the model. Okay, this is the model that is called as Watson and Crick model. Now, it is there in the textbook. You can open the textbook, keep the textbook open so that these all details now I will explain you. This is proposed by Watson and Crick. These are the two scientists, and for this model of DNA, double helical model of DNA, they received the Nobel Prize also. Okay. So when you see these two strands, can you see here? This is the central line. You can see that is called as axis. Central axis. Can you see in this diagram? And here are the two strands. One is starting with 3 prime and which ends here. You can see this is ending with 5 prime, and these are shown purposely, these two ends separately. 3 prime end, you can see here it's with the pointed end, whereas the 5 prime end you can see here divided into 2 parts like this, so that you can identify. Okay, same here with this is the 5 prime end with the bifurcated structure, and the same one here when you can see the another opposite end is the 3 prime end. Is it clear? Now you can see that how these are double stranded, helically coiled. You know, if you have observed the electric wires, how these are of 2 different colors and coiled around each other, the same way these 2 strands are coiled around each other. Okay, helically coiled. You know, you use these electric wires, no, not here, but whatever the 2 color wires you can see, yellow and red generally. Post previously now all everything is sealed, so you can't see. But during Diwali period, when you use these lamps, isn't it? That time you must have seen those wires, extensions and all. So how these wires are helically coiled around each other? So same way, these 2 strands, polynucleotide strands, they are wounded. That means they are bound around each other, coiled around each other, and there are specific things which are to be noted in this model, and that is one end is one strand showing with 3 end, and the other strand opposite, another which is running parallel with the opposite, that is the 5 prime end. Then one thing you have to see, whenever the entire complete turn is there, that complete turn, it shows the total number of nucleotides pairing are 10, and the distance between the 2 strands is also very specific, that is 20 angstrom, and the one complete turn shows 34 angstrom loop, and in that case total 10 nucleotides are present, means this pairing 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here these are not shown all, only 4 are shown, but total one complete turn it shows 10 nucleotides. So what should be the distance between the 2 consecutive nearby nucleotide pairings? 34 is the length. One complete turn shows the length as 34 angstrom, and there are total 10 nucleotides present. So what should be the distance between the 2 consecutive nucleotide pairing, nitrogen basis pairing, means this one and this one, AT and TA, or GC and AT? 3.4. right? 3.4 angstrom distance. Now, one thing you can see in this diagram, this is the groove present, which is shallow, that is called as minor groove. Whereas you can see the deeper groove here, that is called as major groove. That is what, this is nothing but that when they are coiled around each other, two strands, you can see such type of structures. That is the part which is deepened but very shallow. That shallow part, that is called as minor groove, whereas deep region, that is called as major groove. So will you remember those points in this model that is proposed by Watson and Crick? What you can remember in this model, that these are double-stranded helically coiled structure of DNA where each complete turn shows number or the length as 34 angstrom. The distance between the two parallelly running nucleotide chains is 20 angstrom. The two consecutive nitrogen pairings, that means nucleotide pairings, are the distance. What will be that distance? 3.4 angstrom. And then these are two running parallelly but in opposite direction. If one strand is running from 5 prime to 3 prime direction, the other will be running from 3 prime to 5 prime direction. So these are anti-parallel. And now you know how they are paired. These nitrogen bases, purine pairs with pyrimidine. A will always pair with T only, and vice versa with how many hydrogen bonds in between them? 2. And G will always pair with C, and vice versa with how many hydrogen bonds in between them? 3. Correct. So this is the chemical structure which gives clear idea about pairing and all, right? Whereas this is the model proposed by Watson and Crick. Will you remember? Is that clear now? We'll move. Okay. This is again the structure which shows all these key things which are shown in the diagram. How they are represented in the diagram, it is shown here. Okay. Then the next, we will find the difference between the structure of DNA and RNA. Can you find out the difference here? Very clearly it is seen in the diagram. This is double-stranded structure. This is single-stranded structure. Now one difference you will be telling me. Observe and tell me what already I have mentioned, that difference.
Instead of
Observe the
thymine, uracil is used.
Hmm?
Instead of thymine, uracil
Correct.
is used.
Yes. Nitrogen bases, in case of DNA, thymine is present, whereas in case of RNA, what is present is uracil. So AUGC, and here ATGC. Okay, so this is the difference. And so with exception of few viruses that contain single-stranded DNA exists as double-stranded structure only. Only in few viruses, DNA is single-stranded. But otherwise, naturally, in all remaining living organisms, if genetic material is DNA, it is always double-stranded. Here, and two strands of DNA are coiled around a common axis, forming a helical structure known as axis or symmetry. I showed you in the previous diagram. Axis I showed, right? Then we will talk about RNA structure. Backbone is sugar and phosphate group. Just like DNA, backbone is sugar and phosphate group. And the central axis is what? That pairing of nitrogen bases, isn't it? So nitrogenous bases are linked to pentose sugar through nitrogen glycosidic linkage to form a nucleoside. And phosphate group is linked with 3' OH of nucleoside through phosphodiester linkage. And two nucleotides are linked through 3' to 5' phosphodiester linkage to form a dinucleotide. Means whatever the linkage is present between the two nucleotides is because of what are joined? Phosphate groups are joined. Fifth and third. Then third of one nucleotide, the fifth carbon of the neighboring nucleotide. So these are the phosphate groups. So that linkage is called as phosphodiester linkage. Okay, so these are the phosphodiester linkages. Now, ribonucleic acid, that is RNA, is one of the major biological macromolecules that are essential for all known forms of life along with DNA and proteins. Each nucleotide in RNA contains a ribose sugar with carbon number 1' through 5'. A base is attached to the 1' position in general, that is adenine, cytosine, guanine, and uracil. So you can find here that thymine is replaced by uracil. Similar structure, only the difference is what? In the sugar, pentose sugar, and what? It is single stranded form. It is not double stranded in nature. And the another change is what? In nitrogen base. Thymine is replaced by uracil in case of RNA. So these are a few basic points you need to remember between the RNA and DNA. There are many more. So you can see the structure of RNA. So with adenine, guanine, cytosine, and uracil, so this uracil is replaced. So this is the structure of uracil, and this is the cytosine. This is the structure of guanine, and this is the structure of adenine. Okay, and you can see the phosphodiester bond. Fifth carbon, this is the fifth carbon of this nucleotide, and third carbon to the next. So to the third carbon, next nucleotide here present. So this is what called as the bond is between the third and fifth, right? See here, third and fifth. So this is what phosphodiester bond. You got it? Understanding? Yes? Okay. Now, most of the organisms, they show all higher organisms, they show their genetic material as DNA, and some plant viruses and few lower organisms show their genetic material as RNA. Some of the plant viruses, they show RNA as their genetic material. But along with that, there is a non-genetic type of RNA also. There are different types of non-genetic type of RNA. Try to understand the meaning. Genetic and non-genetic. In case of DNA, no such distribution or the things are observed. DNA is totally genetic. It is transferred, hereditary material from parents to the offspring. RNA is equally like that. That is also hereditary material. That is also genetic. But in case of RNA, along with genetic type of RNA, non-genetic type of RNAs also are present. Are you getting my point? Now, what are these different types of RNAs which are non-genetic? Means what? They are not playing role in the hereditary genetics. They are not passed from one generation to the another generation as a genetic material. They are non-genetic. Now, what are those and what is their role, that we will see. Okay. Now, there are three types of non-genetic RNAs. One is mRNA, second is rRNA, and the third is tRNA. And accordingly, they play very, very important roles. Though they are genetic, they are very much useful in the process of protein synthesis. And that part, whenever we will be studying, that time I'll explain. But now let us discuss about all the three types in short. Now you observe this diagram. What can you observe in this? This is the structure of mRNA. You also have the textbook in front of you. You can observe the diagram. That is, what it shows, is it double-stranded or single-stranded structure? Obviously, RNA means single-stranded, but I will show you the difference also afterwards. Now, so here it is a single-stranded structure, right? Then, generally, at around 1,000 nucleotides are present. It's not very long, okay? And it is involved in carrying genetic code from DNA in nucleus to ribosome in cytoplasm where protein is made. Now you will not understand what I read just now. Okay, so how the name it suggests, you understand. Messenger means what? It's giving some message. It's giving some message. Okay, before that we will study the structure first. So this when you can keep it in the horizontal way or in the vertical way, whatever. Can you see this? It starts with G, then C, U, then A, C, U. Can you note this thing? Codon 1, codon 2, codon 3, codon 4. These are numbered. Can you see in the diagram? Why they are numbered and what are these codons then? And what this GCUA, what are these? What we have studied AUGC? Yes, these are nitrogen bases, right? But what can you observe in this diagram? A group of how many nitrogen bases? What it is forming? Codon. As per the diagram, what you can see is a group of 3 nitrogen bases. It makes or it forms a codon. So in this way, you can see n number of codons present on what? mRNA. Means a sequential consecutive 3 nitrogen bases. They form a codon. What do you mean by codon? You know, code language, you use this word. What is code? What you use in programming and all, so many things, code language is there, right? That means what? Information is coded, right? What is that information coded? Is some information is translated in a code language, specific language, which is not easily understood, right? This is what? Code language. And then from that the word has come as codon. That means that information is stored in a specific language, code language, and that represents codon. So such type of codons are present on mRNA. Now you will understand the meaning of this function of the mRNA. That is, M is what? Messenger. What it is, role is what? Function of messenger RNA. mRNA is what? It is carrying a message in a code language, a specific language that is called as code language. And then it is transferring from where this message comes then. That message comes from the nucleus. If you study, remember the structure of cell, any cell, eukaryotic cell or even prokaryotic cell. We'll talk about eukaryotic cell. What is present at the center? Nucleus is present. In the nucleus, what you have studied? What you have studied last time? We have studied all these things. Nucleolus is present. Then chromatin material is present. What are these chromosomes? What is the genetic material present? Right, in the nucleus, all these things are present, right? So this information, that means which is related to the synthesis of protein, that is taken from DNA in the nucleus and carried to the cytoplasm through nuclear pores. You remember the nuclear pores? Nucleus, which in between the gaps are there to the nuclear membrane, these are called as nuclear pores. So through the nuclear pores, this information in the coded language from nucleus is carried to the cytoplasm, where actual process of protein synthesis takes place. Where the protein synthesis takes place, if you remember last time we have studied it. What is the site of protein synthesis? Ribosomes are involved in the protein synthesis, yes or no? You forgot everything? You should recollect and remember whatever you have studied. Learn it, study it, read it, okay? So now you understand that message is taken from DNA in the nucleus and carried where? To the cytoplasm, to the actual site of protein synthesis. What is the protein synthesis site? Ribosomes. And in what language? Coded language. So what it is performing the role of? Message. Message is carried from one place and transferred or given to the another. From the from nucleolus to the cytoplasm. Why nucleus? DNA is present in the nucleus. So from DNA in the nucleus to the ribosomes in the cytoplasm. So this messenger, it is working as a messenger, isn't it? Why is messenger? And this message is in the code language. That is in the form of codons. And what is codon? A group of consecutive 3 sequentially arranged nitrogen bases that actually represents a single amino acid. That part will come, that time I'll explain. But you know, if you remember, what the proteins are made up of? Amino acids. Last lecture, that's why I told you, you missed that lecture. That proteins part I have completed. So proteins are made up of amino acids. And these amino acids, depending on the number and the sequence of amino acids, the type of protein is synthesized. And what is done here by the codes, that means codons. Codons, a single codon represent a single amino acid. And what is a single codon? That is nothing but a sequential arrangement of the three consecutive or the group of three nucleotides forms a single codon. Are you getting my point? Understood or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. So this function is clear now for messenger RNA. Its percentage is hardly 3 to 5% of the total RNAs. Total means what? All the three types of RNAs, whatever are present, non-genetic RNA, out of that, hardly 3 to 5% of the total RNA, mRNA are present. And what specific things you will remember? Single-stranded. And one more thing. Generally, it starts with the first codon is called as starting codon. And the last codon is called as termination codon or end codon. So it is generally AUG. Generally, I am saying it's not seen here, but AUG. It starts with AUG, first codon, and it ends with UAG, UAAUGA, like that. These are also very specific. These are called as terminating. This is initiation codon or start codon. This is the stop codon or termination codon. Will you remember about the mRNA, that is messenger RNA? What it shows, the presence of codons on it. And codons are what? Nothing but a sequential arrangement of the three nucleotides or group of three nitrogen bases. Nitrogen bases are part of nucleotides itself, right? So this is what you have to remember. Its percentage is only 3 to 5% of the total RNAs, and its role is carrying genetic code from DNA in the nucleus to the ribosomes in cytoplasm. Is that clear now? Now we'll come to the next second type of RNA, and that is called as rRNA, that means ribosomal RNA. They are large and complex, and they form double helix, and they form ribosomes along with proteins. These rRNA are responsible for these two things, ribosomes along with proteins, and their percentage is also very high, almost 80, at around 80% of the total RNA, they are considered to be of this type. Because one more thing they are performing the role. What? They provide the site for the protein synthesis. You know that ribosomes are the site for the protein synthesis. So they are responsible in the formation of ribosomes also, and they are providing the ribosomes as the site for the process of protein synthesis. Are you getting my point? So their number is large number of proteins. When as per the requirement of the proteins, they are synthesized, and accordingly the number of ribosomes and the types, the ribosomes are produced. Now you have learned the ribosomes also in the previous chapters, structure and all, everything. Do you remember? Okay, so this is the double helix means whenever it folds, it gets folded. That folded part only shows the what? Pairing of the nucleotides when these are coming in contact in the form of folds. When they are single-stranded, there is no pairing of the nitrogen bases or the nucleotides. When they are doubled, they are coiled, they are showing the pairs when only in the folded nature. Only in the folded form when they are present, they are showing the pairing. Now you can see here these two are showing a fold. So you can see the pairing here coming close to each other. But here you can see this is a single part, single-stranded part of the RNA. Isn't it? This is the single-stranded part of the RNA. Now this is what they are coming close to each other, forming a pair-like structure. Can you see? Whenever the folds are seen, then only there is a pairing of the nucleotides. Otherwise, they are single-stranded. Its number is more, and they are performing the function in the synthesis of ribosomes, as well as they are providing the site for the protein synthesis. Clear? Now the next type is called as transfer RNA. This is also known as tRNA, as well as this is called as sRNA. You know, SY, soluble RNA. M is also known as template RNA. Why template? I didn't use purposely that word template because you will again get confused. When you will study the DNA or application, that time I will tell you, then you will come to know. Right now you remember tRNA is also called as sRNA because once its role is over in the process of protein synthesis, it gets soluble. That's why this is also called as soluble RNA. Just remember tRNA. Right now, these three names as mRNA, rRNA, and tRNA. Only these three names you remember. Okay, these are all non-genetic type of RNAs. Now, what is the special feature in this? Now, here you have to learn extra more things than the first two. Now, T is what the name itself suggests, transfer. What it is transferring? The information which is carried by mRNA, that is transferred in the genetic code language, where for the process of protein synthesis on ribosomes. Now here, though you don't understand much about the role, but you just remember, you can do it by heart. Why? Because when actual protein synthesis part you will be studying, that time everything will be very clear. But just remember that these are involved in the process of protein synthesis. What that transfers, what is the role? It transfers the amino acid to ribosomes for assembling proteins. As I told you, proteins are made up of amino acids. So amino acids are necessary. When these are the number, the sequence, and the type of amino acids, everything is very specific because the type of protein is to be produced or synthesized depends on all these factors. The number, the sequence, and the type of amino acids present in it. And that role is performed by tRNA. These amino acids are carried by this tRNA. Okay, so this its transfer RNA is a small RNA chain of about only 80 nucleotides. Only 80 nucleotides, around 80 nucleotides they are present in it. Now we are going to focus on the structure of this tRNA, which is totally different than the first two. Isn't it totally different from the first two? mRNA is a very simple form, straight line, isn't it? With one end is 5' end, always starting with the starting codon as AUG, and the another end is called as stop codon, that is 3' end in case of mRNA. In case of RNA, it is whenever it is showing fold, sometimes it is in the folded form, sometimes it is single stranded structure. When it is in the folded nature, it shows the pairing. And now this third one, don't you find it's totally different than first two? Is it different? Can you see the difference? When you see the structure, the model of tRNA, it's totally different than the first two. Now you can see here in general I'll tell you, that is, this is the 5' end and this is 3' end. When you start from here, suppose whatever, 5' end, here it is starting forming such type of parts with arm and loop. This entire structure is called, this is one arm, this is second, this is smaller short one loop, and this is the fourth one, and these two are free. Actually this is one end, this is the 5' end and this is the 3' end, but with this 5' to 3', how much structure it is showing? It is showing such type of folds. Can you see all those folds? And these folds are very specific. You know, this is what called as arm and this is called as loop. Okay, this is arm and this is the loop. So, and this is a very small or short loop. Okay, mini arm. This is also called as mini arm, and this is again the arm, and this is the loop. When 5' end is, can you see one more difference? This here is the 3' end, here is the 5' end. What are the arms equal? No, because these are unequal. You can see the unequal arms here. 5' is shorter and 3' end is longer, that arm. Then one more thing you can observe, 5' always ends with G, guanosine, guanine, as its nitrogen base, nucleotide. Okay. Whereas here CCA, 3' end always ends with CCA. Can you see CCA? Okay. So these are the peculiar things you need to remember. Now, what are these arms known as? You can see in the diagram in the textbook. 5' end, towards the 5' end, first arm, whatever it comes with the loops, what is it labeled as? Tell me. What is it labeled as? A D loop. This is called loop. Okay. This is called as D loop, or this is also called as DHU. That arm is also called as DHU. Dihydroxyacetyl. What? U is for yes. Dihydroxyuracil, DHU, that loop is called, which is nearest to the 5' end, first shows the arm or the loop as DHU, or this is also called as D arm. Okay, and opposite to D arm, whatever this arm is present, that is called as T arm, or that is also called as T psi C arm. You know, then whatever the loop and the structure here present here, opposite to these free ends is called anticodon loop. This is called as anticodon loop. Try to understand the description, the structure of tRNA for 3 marks, 4 marks can be asked, and only diagram also can be asked for tRNA. What you need to remember, that 5' end is shorter, ending with G. 3' end is longer, ending with CCA. Then this, which is nearest to the 5' end, this arm is called as DHU or D arm or DHU loop, dihydroxyuracil loop, this is called. And then opposite to DHU loop, which is nearest to the 3' end, that is called as T psi C or T arm. Okay, then opposite to these free ends, whatever the arm and the loop is present, this loop is called as anticodon loop. Now try to understand the meaning. Anti is against. Codon means codons are present on mRNA, right? So these are complementary to the codons. Means if AUG is present on mRNA, what should be the nitrogen's bases present on this loop? That is called as anticodon. These are complementary. If AUG is present on mRNA as a codon, now you studied codon on mRNA just now, then what should be the complementary nucleotides present on this loop? G, AUG. So AUAC, correct? A is complementary to the A is what in RNA? U. For U it is A, and for G it is C. So what should be the codon anticodons on this loop of tRNA? U, A, C. Now you can see here the pairing here on anticodon loop. What is C shown? C, G, G, right? So what are the codons on mRNA? This is mRNA 5' to 3' end. What are present? Complementary. These are complementary. So C, complementary to the C is what? G. Complementary to the G is what? C. Again same. So these are the whatever the codons present on the anticodon loop, they are complementary to the codons on mRNA, and that's why this loop is called as anticodon loop. You got it? The point you got? Yes? Understood? Now one more thing, this small short loop is also present. Sometimes it is present, sometimes it is absent, but generally it is seen. That is called as mini R. This is called as mini R. So is this clear, the structure? And also function first only we discuss. And now here this is very clear with the function of that this 3' end. What is this present is you can see this is amino acid. So this arm which ends with 3' end is called as amino acid acceptor arm, because to this 3' end amino acid gets attached. You got it? My point? Try to understand. Okay, so this 3' end is called as amino acid acceptor arm, whereas 5' end is considered to be amino acid recognition site. 3' end is the amino acid acceptor, because to the 3' end only this amino acid gets attached, which is required for the protein synthesis. Getting my point? Yes? Clear now? Okay. So this is all about nucleic acids. Is that clear up to this? Yes. Now we can continue the next molecule. Still, oh, okay, time up. So I will not continue. Enzyme part is remaining. That I will complete. Actually, 10 minutes are vested in that technical problem. So I couldn't complete. But anyway, I will. Don't go anywhere. Wait. Still, I'm.